Juliet Jeske, Decoding Fox News. So this is part of my series on Jeffrey Epstein and Fox News. Now, so for the past couple weeks, Fox News has completely ignored the Epstein Files, and they don't even mention Jeffrey Epstein. It's like he's just completely disappeared. This files, these documents they claim that they cared about so much is now suddenly completely unimportant. So this next series of videos are all about lawyers. And we're going to start with David Schoen, who was a lawyer for both Jeffrey Epstein and Donald J. Trump. And they share more than one lawyer. And in this case, they're not concerned at all that David Schoen was also hired by Jeffrey Epstein. And David Schoen, who is a frequent guest on the Ingram Angle especially, and Fox News in general, but she likes to include him quite a bit, doesn't seem bothered at all by what Jeffrey Epstein was accused of. This is kind of normal for a criminal defense attorney, but he does seem a little enamored with Jeffrey Epstein, who's of course deceased. So here's the clip.
Wow. What light can you shed on Jeffrey Epstein without violating attorney-client privilege, David Schoen?
It's a very interesting question. One of the most interesting people I ever met. He called me about 10 years before he died just to ask a question about he was getting ready to go to jail, wanted some information. Remember, he was represented by a team of terrific lawyers, many of them, some of the biggest names in the country, for years. About a year before he died, he asked me to review their work. He was facing an action in Florida, and he was concerned. He asked me to review their papers. After he was arrested, he asked me to come to New York, and he hired me to, 9 days before he died, he hired me to take over his criminal case. He told me that I was the only person in the world he trusted with his life, so I took that very seriously as a badge of honor. He was a very interesting person. Yeah. Never got his day in court.
All right. Well, we also need to...
So that was David Schoen, and again, nobody on Fox was concerned at all that he was once a lawyer for Epstein, for Jeffrey Epstein. And he went on to work for Donald J. Trump as part of his second impeachment. Okay, so we're going to move on to a judge named Bruce Reinhardt. He was the magistrate who was part of the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago. So they went to this magistrate, Judge Bruce Reinhardt, and he was part of that investigation. And then the folks at Fox found out that he also, as a lawyer, as an attorney, defended the employees of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, suddenly, the folks on Fox have a real problem with an attorney associated with Jeffrey Epstein, even though, again, he didn't work for Jeffrey Epstein directly. He just worked for Jeffrey Epstein's staff. Here we go.
They planted evidence with Crooked and the CIA and the FBI already. And you can't trust this judge. They said, oh, a judge must have signed off on it. The judge is an Obama donor. The judge defended Jeffrey Epstein's team. You can't trust this guy. So why'd they shop the warrant to a judge involved with Jeffrey Epstein? The judge is an Obama donor. He's a magistrate judge, Bruce Reinhardt, who helped Epstein's associates get off. He donated it to Obama and left his position with the South Florida U.S. Attorney's Office to work for Jeffrey Epstein's team, a convicted child sex trafficker. Why would you shop for a judge who worked with the Epstein team? Like, you know, he represented the pilot that flew children to an island to get raped. Now, usually if you fly children to an island to get raped, you usually spend time in prison. But for some reason, this guy spent no time in prison because this guy they shopped to either got him a sweetheart deal, and he didn't even leak and rat out Epstein. He still got off. He was Team Epstein, even after he was a convicted pedophile. And he cheated the system to get there. You see, Reinhardt worked for the South Florida U.S. Attorney's Office during the beginning of the Epstein investigation. He was on the prosecution side. And then, after Epstein was giving that, like, mysterious sweetheart deal, Reinhardt switched sides, went on the defense, and represented all of Epstein's employees, like his pilots and his scheduler. Now, usually when a person helps facilitate a child rape, they get in trouble. But this Reinhardt guy got his friends out of trouble. They didn't even flip on Epstein. But that's unfair to talk about. You can't ask questions about that. Like, where was the FBI when Epstein was molesting kids? They let him live free and clear for 15 years.
And in fact, as we later learned, the actual warrant for the raid, which was signed by an openly partisan judge who, because you couldn't make any of this up if you tried, once represented Jeffrey Epstein's side in the famous underage sex case, that judge.
So the judge Biden shopped the warrant to fair and balanced judge. This guy donated to Obama. He's an Epstein team lawyer. He's posting political screeds on the internet. He's recusing himself because he has Trump derangement syndrome.
The third video in this series features Alan Dershowitz. Now, as you can guess, you probably already know, Alan Dershowitz was also an attorney for Jeffrey Epstein and Donald J. Trump. Dershowitz worked for Trump's first impeachment. And he was actually the lawyer he talks about in the clip that got the sweetheart deal for Jeffrey Epstein in 2008 when Jeffrey Epstein was first charged with sex trafficking and a number of other crimes. And again, to recap this a little bit, Alex Acosta was the district attorney at the time who helped make that sweetheart deal possible in Florida. Trump went on to appoint or nominate Acosta to the Secretary of Labor as part of his first administration. And this eventually came out that he was linked to the sweetheart deal for Epstein, and he resigned as a result of this. But yeah, there's a lot of overlap here. And I just find these three videos funny to put together because, again, work for Jeffrey Epstein, not a problem. You can be a frequent guest on Fox News. Work for the employees of Jeffrey Epstein who did nothing wrong, who were worried they would get roped up into this criminal enterprise of Jeffrey Epstein. Now you're the devil. Okay, work for Jeffrey Epstein, you're fine. Because Alan Dershowitz is a frequent guest on the network. So here's the... Oh, and by the way, before I play it, he also talks about how he was accused of having sex with one of the minor-aged girls. And she since changed her story on that and said, well, maybe I got him confused with somebody else. And he does talk about that in this clip. I'm not accusing him of anything. His words speak for themselves. Here we go.
Wink. Let me tell you something about Michael Cohen. He's not through with his problems. He just tweeted about me saying, because I had attacked his credibility, that I was involved with underage girls on Epstein's island. I'm about to sue him now for defamation. As you know, the woman who falsely accused me acknowledged that she may have made a mistake in misidentifying me. And I would normally not sue somebody for writing that kind of nonsense. But this is Michael Cohen, who's about to try to prevent Donald Trump from running for president of the United States. And I'm going to sue him for defamation.
Cohen wrote to me recently because I threatened to sue him because he told a lie about me. He had me on Jeffrey Epstein's island with young people. I've never been anywhere with young people.
Wait a minute, you were on Orgy Island?
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Just asking.
And it's not true.
I know you weren't.
It's not true. So I am threatening to sue him as well because, when governments go after witnesses, they'll do anything. They'll twist, they'll turn, they'll threaten relatives, they'll threaten everything. It's about time a defendant said, I'm going to fight back.
Sometimes I created a plea bargain like I did in this case. By the way, Epstein was furious at me for the plea bargain. He wouldn't pay my fee because he thought I had done a terrible job because he ended up going to jail and having to report as a sex offender. The rest of the world thought it was a sweetheart. But that's what criminal defense lawyers do. I'm 85 years old. I hope the good Lord gives me the strength to continue to represent the most despised, the most controversial, the most unpopular people in the world. Look at the hell I got for representing Donald Trump. I did that, and I lost a lot of my friends. And people say to me all the time, oh, I understand Epstein, but not Trump. Or I understand Trump, but not Epstein.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more content like it, please like and subscribe and share this video as it helps bring more traffic to this channel. Decoding Fox News is also on pretty much every social media platform except for TikTok. Not a huge fan of that platform. They don't seem to quite understand what I do. And I'm 100% supported by people just like you. There's some links in the description of this video if you want to become a paid subscriber, paid supporter to Decoding Fox News. But again, just sharing this video also helps. Thank you so much.